Hi there, everybody. I'm Nate Eaton with EastIdahoNews.com and Crime HQ here with Jared. He's with M-Vac, and tell me the name of your podcast.
All Things Crime.
All Things Crime. First, let's start. What is the M-Vac system?
So the M-Vac is a wet vacuum, so it sprays a sterile solution down onto evidence and vacuums it up. And so any kind of DNA that is on a rough or porous surface, it can collect it 40, 50 times more readily than a swab can.
And so it sucks it up, and then what do you do with it?
Well, initially it's suspended in the liquid, and then it's concentrated onto a filter, and that filter is actually what the investigators send to the lab.
Oh my word. So how new is this technology?
It's actually been around a while. We initially launched it in 2007 in the food industry, and we found out that the food industry really was a little too sensitive for what they wanted to find. And so in 2012, we pivoted into forensics, and so since 2012 we've been working in forensics.
And you were just telling me off camera that your technology was used with the Susan Powell case.
Yeah, it was used to try to find DNA in the Ford Taurus that they thought possibly Susan had been transported in, the trunk of the car.
Mm-hmm. And do you know any luck there?
Well, my understanding, that car had been sitting in a desert for 2 years, and so 140 degrees or more.
Yeah.
My understanding is they did find DNA, but none of it that they could attribute to Susan.
I see. What other cases is it used in?
It's been used a lot. In 10 years, there's a lot of cases that has been used in, such as ones that you might be familiar with, Angie Dodge case.
Yes.
Yeah. And Crystal Bislanowicz.
Okay.
She was murdered in 1996 in Midway, Utah, and bludgeoned to death with some river rocks. So it was able to collect touch DNA off of those river rocks.
And so you've been doing this, but you also launched a podcast.
Right.
Was it because you were, involved in these crimes, forensic cases, that you thought, we'll do a podcast, or?
It was actually more because of the pandemic. I realized that with the loss of all the conferences and travel and everything, that I still needed a way to reach my customers. And so I started interviewing a lot of the friends that are investigators, like detectives and crime scene analysts. And it eventually just kind of turned into a podcast. So I'm kind of gone into it backwards compared to everybody else. They actually have a story they want to tell. I wanted little clips and things about the M-Vac so I could post on different social media, especially LinkedIn. And then somebody said, hey, why don't you strip the audio out of it and make a podcast?
And how often do you put out episodes?
I'm sorry?
How often do you release episodes?
About once a week.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm up to, 105
awesome
episodes now.
That's great. And what do you think of CrimeCon, real quick?
This place is awesome. Especially now that I have a podcast, I feel a little more at home.
Yeah.
When I was there in New Orleans, I was down there for a training anyway, but all I had was the M-Vac, and so everybody was kind of like, well, that's great. The technology's cool, but why are you here? So. And
you are here on Podcast Row at
yes,
CrimeCon in Las Vegas. Again, tell everybody the name of your podcast and how they can find it.
All Things Crime. We're on YouTube. We're on all of the Spotify and Apple Tunes, and we'd love to tell you some stories.
All right, check it out. Thank you, Jared.
Oh, my pleasure.